I told you I'm not paying $8 for this. No! What did you call me? Alright, that's it.
Splitgate was one of the first games I reviewed on this channel. Splitgate was an arena shooter that differentiated itself from its contemporaries with the addition of portals. It surged to popularity back in 2021 and then faded out of the limelight just as quick. Later in 2022, 1047 Games, the devs behind Splitgate, announced the cease of updates as the team had decided to move on to a new game. Splitgate 1 is still playable to this day, but major updates for the game have stopped since then. After the announcement, 1047 was largely silent on the state of the new game. Until late last year, that is, when they announced Splitgate 2. The biggest change from the original Splitgate is the faction system. Currently, there are 3 factions, each with their own active and passive abilities. All 3 factions have various weapons and gadgets available for their loadouts. Of course, the weapons from each faction are unique. So, the Sabrask shotgun functions different from the Meridian and Arrows variety. Same goes for the gadgets as well. I got a chance to play around with some of them. There are some I like and some I don't. For example, the assault rifle. I definitely prefer the Meridian or Arrows version as opposed to the Sabrask variant. Sabrask had too much recoil and far too slow a fire rate for me to be effective with it. I really wanted to try out the Meridian Plasma SMG since it was the closest thing to the plasma rifle from the original Splitgate, but I unfortunately got cucked out of a shit ton of experience points mid-alpha due to a bug, so that didn't happen. Of course, guns can also be modified to your liking. Extra ammo, longer range. I'm sure there'll be some sort of bullshit meta popping up 2 hours after the official launch, but what can you do? I wouldn't call it a hero shooter in the traditional sense, since loadouts are such a big emphasis here. The factions themselves serve as more of an extension to the loadout than anything. Furthermore, the whole appeal of hero shooters is the characters you play as. They have backstories and lore and dedicated kits to reflect these aspects of the said character. Splitgate doesn't have any of those things. Some folks have argued that Valorant renders my argument null. However, I wouldn't call Valorant a hero shooter. I'd call Valorant trash. With the addition of the loadout system, there are also a few new game modes on rotation. As with all arena shooters, it's a mixed bag. Firecracker plays closer to a tactical shooter, having one team attempt to plant a bomb and the other one tasked with defending and defusing. There we go, we did it. It's far less punishing than a traditional tactical shooter, simply because there are respawns. Along with completely new modes, there are reworks of existing modes. For instance, Split Ball is now capture the flag, but instead of holding flags, you hold balls. And we need to steal those guys' balls.
Wait, what? What?
Even if you get your balls to your bag, the opposing team can grab your balls. Get wrecked! I'm taking his balls! Oh fuck, I dropped the ball. This version of Split Ball is different from the original version. The original version just being a take on Halo's Oddball mode. Personally, I prefer the OG version of Split Ball. And that's because I prefer to handle balls for an extended period of time. And then you have Hot Zone. It's basically the same as the original version.
Capture underway. Be alert.
Multi-team mode features 3 8-player teams and a few game modes on a larger scale map. The 3 game modes included Deathmatch, my least favorite. The map is just too big and the players cluster all into one area. It's simultaneously too chaotic and too tedious. Domination and Hot Zone, on the other hand, managed to make full use of the map by having a hot zone that moves around, or a variety of locations to fight over. Of course, I should probably mention the other maps too. Aside from the big map, nothing really stood out to me in terms of design or aesthetic. A lot of the maps feel sterile and a bit too similar. I know they're going with a tournament league style setting, so having a sanctioned arena filled with product placement makes sense, but it doesn't make the maps feel very unique. Nearly all of them are floating platforms. OG Splitgate had Highwind, which was a map inspired by Oriental culture. That map was in stark contrast to Impact, which was an industrial farm on the moon. They just had more personality. There also hasn't been a map that really shows off any of the verticality that the arena shooter genre is known for. Olympus was my favorite map. Sure, it was a giant arena floating in midair, but it was built like an onion. It had layers, bro. Layers. It made for great portal hopping, and while portaling in Portal Tech itself is present in Splitgate 2, it feels like it isn't as emphasized as it was in the original game. Due to the portal wall placement and their reduction of verticality, we see less crazy portal-based momentum, which is kind of sad. I really hope that the next maps remedy this. Overall, I like what I see with Splitgate 2. The faction system with its loadouts has changed up the formula quite a bit, making it unique enough from the original. Many of the dedicated Splitgate players aren't happy with the changes, and I understand this. But I also don't think making more of the same in a sequel would really sell this game to a larger audience. Even if they fix all the things that I've mentioned, I am still worried that the game might die off pretty quickly. And that's because it's an arena shooter and those really aren't all that popular right now. I really hope that's not the case, because I actually quite enjoyed what I played of the Splitgate 2 Alpha. I could see myself playing it once or twice a week and even on the occasional stream. That's really all I have to say about the Alpha for Splitgate 2. I'm gonna go to bed now. Thanks for watching, bye.